I've been tasked by my good friend Pete to build a general purpose editing PC. The parts have arrived. I'm going to put it together and you can see the end result. The only thing that hasn't arrived thus far is the graphics card, but with the magic of editing, it will appear at the end of the video. So let's go through what we've got here today. So we've got the NZXT 510 ATX case. It's about as small a case as I could get hold of that supports a full ATX motherboard. I've got the, I believe it's the previous version of this, which is the, I think it's the S602. I also have the 210 as well, which is the ITX version for my editing PC. I really like these cases. They're easy to use. They come with a couple of fans, and if you can get them at a good price, they're certainly a good option. Now, with this case, I'm going to put the MSI B450A Pro Max motherboard into it. Now, this motherboard I've chosen because it is the Max version. So AMD yesterday announced that they will be supporting Zen 4000, so Zen 3 processors with the B450 motherboards. This is the Max version, which has the big memory BIOS, which means there's going to be no issue with supporting all the Zen processors. It's extremely similar to the Tomahawk Max motherboard, the B450 Tomahawk Max. I can't really tell too much of a difference other than a few cosmetic differences, and it's about 20 to 25% cheaper at the moment. So this is a really good value motherboard. I've got a AERO modular bronze power supply, 750 watts, easily powerful enough for the entire system. Now the processor, this is something that I kind of ummed and ahed about because I was looking at the 1600 AF, but that's more expensive than the 2600. So looking at the 2600, I thought, well, this is on offer. This is the 3600. It's 7 nanometer, higher boost clocks, better IPC. And because it was on a special, this was definitely the best option. 6 cores, 12 threads would be ideal for an entry-level editing PC. And having this platform will allow my friend Pete in the future, if he chooses, to upgrade to, let's say, a 3950X or whatever the Zen 3 architecture brings. That should bring higher IPCs, possibly higher boost clocks as well. So we do have a good upgrade path with this PC, and that was one of the key things to look for. So we've got crucial BALLISTIX 3200 megahertz RAM, CL16. It's compatible with Ryzen systems. I was looking at the 3600 megahertz versions of Corsair and Crucial RAM, but the price jump was quite dramatic. For a tiny improvement in performance, it just wasn't worth it. So that was excellent value. For storage, we've got the SABRENT Rocket NVMe SSD, really fast, very reliable. It uses TLC NAND chips. Is that the right terminology? I don't know, I haven't had my coffee, it's too early. But this is really fast, reliable, and this is going to be the main drive in the system. It's going to be ideal for editing. So that is a great purchase, good price as well at the moment. And then for general storage, we have a Seagate Barracuda, and that's 2 terabytes. And I chose this drive because it's 7200 RPM. So the access time should be a little bit faster than the 5400 RPM drives in theory. So that is the build, bar the graphics card, which is a Paylott GTX 1650 Super. That's the Storm X version. Now, the reason why I chose that, it's obviously not for gaming, but it can game very well. But it's the TU106 or 116, I'll put it somewhere here, chip inside the graphics card, which supports the NVENC encoder. That's the important thing. The video editor my friend is using supports hardware acceleration, and that NVENC encoder is going to be very handy. So that's why I've chosen that graphics card. It's a single fan version, but it's ideal for video editing, and I know it's very good because I use one myself. So that's the entire system. let's put it together. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to do is install the NVMe SSD. So it's very straightforward. I've moved this from here to here. This is basically a screw which allows another screw to screw into it to support and hold this in place. So I'm just going to slot that in. There we go. Okay, so we just screw that into place. Make sure it's nice and secure. And that is our storage installed. Next is the memory. So you can see we've got a slot just there, and that's kind of slightly offset, and it'll be the same on the motherboard. And that is your RAM installed. It's that simple. Okay, so it's time to install the processor. Now, if you have a look, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's a little mark just there, and that lines up with a little mark on the motherboard here. So just make sure you have the arm flipped up and open. The processor should just slot in nicely, and then this arm just locks it into place. Go, that's done, and now we have the fun task of placing the motherboard into the case. Now this is quite a tight fit because it's quite a compact case for a full ATX motherboard. Okay, so we had a bit of an issue. These screws here were on so tight that unscrewing them with several screwdrivers, they were literally disintegrating. So I had to use one of these, which is a really handy tool if you want to get stubborn screws out without stripping them. So thankfully the screws have survived and they'll live to see another day. But wow, that was really tough, unnecessarily tough. Well, there we have it. The PC is done. We have completed it and it's looking rather good. Now, the two things that I would point out straight away if you're really fussy is the mustard and ketchup cables. Well, can't really do anything about that unless we buy some sleeves, which will cost extra money, and we are building this to a budget. This power supply was a power supply that I supplied to the build for free of charge just to get it down in price. And also the white fans at the front here would have been better if they were black, but once again they were free of charge. I supplied them. So that's the end of the video. If you want to see how this PC performs, I've done a video with some benchmarks showcasing a PC with almost identical specification, and the link will be in the description below. Please like and subscribe because it does help the channel, and thanks for watching. Now it's time to install the I/O shield. Very simple. Make sure you've got the right orientation because the motherboard has to sit into it, and then just carefully. So I've been tasked with building a PC for my friend, my good friend Pete, and he basically